One of the interesting phenomena that social media has brought to the forefront have been gender reveals. And let me tell you a little bit about why I'm not a fan of gender reveals, particularly those that share disappointment. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And one of the things that I've noticed about these gender reveal parties is that and a lot of parents get a lot of blowback from this. It's like when parents express disappointment over it's not a boy or if it's not a girl, like they are immediately just disappointed. They may act out towards the other partner. They may walk off. They may, throw, whatever. We've seen all sorts of reactions from parents who are disappointed at the gender of their baby. And while I'm saying this, I want to be sure to preface this. It's not all parents who express disappointment. But I think, a lot of times when you have parents that are disappointed at those gender reveals, that may be more of a foreshadowing of what's to come for a child that's not even here yet. And again, that's not for everybody, but I do think that this happens a lot. And I think we adult children have seen it manifest over the years. And I think you're actually getting a preview before the child is even here yet. But a lot of times, adult children who have challenges with their parents in particular, it can be girls or boys, but I've heard girls speak about this phenomenon more than I've heard men or women speak about this phenomenon more than men, where their parents, in the middle of an argument, or when their parents have gotten angry with them, or when their parents have, disciplined them or had a problem or a frustration with them. I never wanted you anyway. I didn't want a girl. I never wanted a daughter. I don't like my daughter. You hear mothers say those sorts of things. You can also hear them express that over a son, fathers too. I didn't want you anyway. I really wanted a boy, or I really wanted a girl, and that may actually show up, in the form of punishments where you could see parents acting out their aggressions and their frustration more harshly on a child of a different gender. And I do think, again, this, while they may not be conscious of it, conscious of their bias, there is certainly a bias when it comes to that. And I think that is a long-standing issue, where you have parents who have favorites, who favor their son over their daughter, who favor their daughter over their son. But that typically starts way before that child even gets here. I have this fantasy, I want this, or the baby daddy wants that, and so that's what we're really hoping for, and there's certain countries, where parents are not allowed to know the gender of the child beforehand. And I believe India is one of those countries where they're not allowed to know the gender beforehand, because parents have known to be brutal and attack or abuse or try to abort the baby, when they find out the gender, and they are disappointed with that information when it's not what they wanted. If it's not a boy, if it's not what they've been trying for, then they immediately become angry, and they may, violate their own bodies to try to get rid of it because it's not what they want. But I do believe that disappointment that you see in those gender reveal parties and things like that we've seen on social media, I think that definitely plays out long term, and that manifests over the course of a child's career. And I think this is important for adult children to know, because a lot of times adult children wonder, what was it about me? What was it? Why am I not lovable? And, what you may be actually getting to witness in real time is it was never about you. This was something, that you may have never had any control over, right? I'm not saying that other things don't develop in the course of that, but their disappointment with you, their frustration, their anger and animosity towards you may have begun way before you exited the womb. Hope that helps. Thanks so much.